Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone on our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, so once again welcome everyone. Last time we were discussing Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text number 11 through 13 we discussed last time. And I believe 13 we were still discussing. The second part of the verse we were yet to complete. So text 13 where Krishna is describing how Krishna creates the four division of human society. Chaturvarnayam maya srishtam guna karma bhibhagashah tasya kartaram apimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. So according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them. Guna, karma, vibhagasha. So Lord Krishna says, I created the division of human society based on the guna and karma. And then even though I created this whole division of society, I engaged in this work, still tasya kartaram apimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. So even though I am the creator of the system, still I am the non-doer, being unchangeable. So the question may come, okay, how is Krishna still the non-doer? How is Krishna not affected by any karma? So because Krishna has not put people into these places, they have been put into their respective places based on their previous karma. So Krishna is not partial. Krishna doesn't say, okay, I don't like this person, so I'm going to make this person into a Shudra forever. So Krishna has just created a system and people are placed into that system based on their own qualities. Just like in a school, for every grade, like grade 8th, grade 9th, grade 10th, maybe there are multiple sections, section A, section B, section C in the school for one particular class, one particular grade. And the students are put into these sections based on their ranking. Sometimes they create one section for all very brilliant students, so they can focus on those students and their growth. And some section is where all average students are there, where they just need to focus on some basic course level. And some section maybe all the dull students, they don't want to study, they don't want to do anything, just for to engage them somehow, they are still coming to the school. So same way, all these students are basically put into different section based on their own ability, based on their interest. So some students are put into the section where all intelligent students are there, they get the good teachers, good resources, etc., for their continuous growth. So here also Krishna has created this division of 4 varna, 4 ashrama, but people are put into these different sections based on their own desires, based on their own previous karma, based on their own interest. So Krishna is not affected by that work. Now, another example given is just as rain. The rainwater falls equally onto the forest. Now, some seed they grew as huge banyan tree. For some other seed, maybe some beautiful flower blossom. For some other for some other place where the water drop falls, some other thorny bushes grow, and some water drops, the raindrops fall on the stone, barren land where nothing grows. So, who is responsible for all these different type of vegetation? Is it rain responsible? Yes, in one way, rain is the source, rain is the cause behind that, but still, rain is not responsible for which type of tree, which type of plant will grow. That depends on the particular seed. So, in the same way, Krishna provides the soul with the energy to act, but they have a free will in determining what they want to do with that energy. So Krishna is not responsible for their actions and choices. Everybody, so sometimes people claim, right? Oh, I was forced to do like this. I did not do it. God made me do this. God has given us the energy, God has given us the resources. But again, it's up to the individual soul how they want to utilize that energy, how they want to utilize their free will of making choices. So we are responsible for our own action. And is Krishna partial or impartial? The answer is Krishna is reciprocal. Krishna reciprocates accordingly. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathay bhajamya. So Krishna is reciprocal. Like for the law of gravity, neutrality is the principle. Law of gravity acts on everybody equally in a neutral way. Either you throw a stone from the 10-story building, the law of gravity is going to act on that stone also same way. If somebody jump from that 10-story building, the law of gravity is going to act on that person also same way. It's not going to act on that person thinking, no, I don't want to pull that person down, let me push that person upward. No, so the law of gravity is neutral. It will work on a living matter, on a non-living matter in equal way. And for a person also, reciprocal is the principle. Reciprocity is the principle. Suppose you go to your friend, you go to meet a person, and if that person is always like a stone faced, right? No matter how many times you go, that person doesn't give any expressions, just like a stone face. So what will you do ultimately? You will think, okay, there is no point in going to that person. That person doesn't want to greet me, doesn't want to talk to me. So you will behave with that person as he is behaving. So same way for Krishna, the principle is he is reciprocal. He is not bound by this karma, even though he is engaging in all sort of activity, creating the division of the society. Even in the whole Mahabharata episode, Lord Krishna is engaging in so many activities, right? Even though he is being the chariot driver of Arjuna, guiding Arjuna, helping them make their decisions, but still Krishna is not bound by any karmic reaction. Now, next verse, Krishna further explained. Actually, the next two verses, Krishna continue on the same topic, that I am not bound by the karma. And if somebody understand that, that person also will not be bound by the karma. So very interesting statement, interesting verse here. Chapter 4, text number 14. न मां कर्माणि लिम्पन्ति न मे कर्मफले स्पृहा इति मां जो अभिजानाति कर्मभिर्न स बध्यते. So there is no work that affects me, nor do I desire for the result of the action. And one who understands this truth about me, that person also does not entangle in the fruitive reaction of work. So first thing, one thing Krishna is talking about himself, that I do not get affected by any karma. Why? Because there is no desire for the fruit of action. So the first point to understand here is, when do the karma act on us? When do we get the reaction of any karma? When we seek something from outside, then it has effect on us. I like the desires, the fear. So those are the effects. So when we are seeking something from outside, then it brings in the reaction. So activities bind one in karmic reaction when they are performed with the mentality of enjoying the results. So here Krishna is saying, in his activity, there is no motivation, there is no desire or even need for any result. Krishna is not in lack of anything. In his Vaikuntha, in his Goloka Dham, in his Saket Dham, there is no dearth of anything. He is full of all opulences. So Krishna is not looking for something in this material world. He doesn't have any need to get something. He doesn't have any desire to get anything. So that's why Krishna is not bound by the any activity, the result of any activity. And why we get bound in this material world? Because if we are performing any activity with the mentality of enjoying the results, even if somebody is doing bhakti, but behind the performance of bhakti, if the desire is to get some, the motive is to get some desires fulfilled, that will also bring in reaction. That is also still not at the level of that we have become freed from our karma. So that point will come further more in detail. So here Krishna is saying, I am not entangled by any work because I do not have any desire to get anything. And one who understands that, that person also becomes free. So then why Krishna acts at all? So why does Krishna do any activity in this world? Whenever Krishna appear in this material world, why does Krishna act? That is out of his love, out of his compassion for the living entities. Anugrahaya bhaktanam, right? To give special mercy to his devotees, to shower special compassion out of love, Krishna performs various activity. So even though Krishna is doing everything, still he is not affected. There is a story when Krishna was still in Vrindavan. At that time, once the gopis, they want to go on the other side of Yamuna. They want to cross Yamuna to take all their pots of milk, yogurt, butter. And because the Yamuna is flooded with water, they cannot cross Yamuna. And they come to Krishna, please help us to cross this river. And Krishna tells them, you want to go cross Yamuna, you go to Yamuna and tell, if Krishna is a perfect brahmachari, give us the path to cross across you. And all the gopis laugh. You and perfect brahmachari. So you are here always teasing the girls and all that, and you are saying yourself that you are perfect brahmachari. So Krishna says, no, no, just go and try it. Tell Yamuna Devi that if Krishna is a brahmachari, give us the way from this river. And gopis go and tell this to Yamuna, and to their surprise, Yamuna parts into two and gives the way. So what does this pastime representing actually? Krishna says, even though I am engaging in all those different activity, I am unaffected. Even though Krishna married 16,108 queens, Krishna is unaffected. Now, if we know Krishna's nature, that Krishna is not unaffected, if we understand that principle, Krishna says that person also is unaffected by the reactions of one's work. So there is in Ramayana, there is a beautiful verse which says, समर्थ को नहीं दोष गोसाई, रवि पावक सुरसरी की नाई. So what does it say? Samarth ko nahi dosh gosai. One person who is capable, for that person there is no, in that person there is no fault in any action. Like the Ravi Pavak Surasari. So three examples quoted here. Ravi means sun. So sun does not get tainted if the sunlight fall on a puddle of urine. Sun still retains its purity. While it also purifies that dirty puddle also. So same way, if we offer any impure object into the fire still remains pure, right? Fire will just consume everything, whatever is put into the fire, turn that into ashes. But the fire itself remain pure. So sun does not get tainted by coming in contact with any impure object. The fire does not get contaminated. And then the river Ganga, even though some gutters may merge into the holy Ganga, right? The gutter water may merge into the holy Ganga. It does not make Ganga into a gutter. The Ganga remains pure, and it transforms those dirty gutters also into the river water, like the Ganges water. So same way, God is not tainted by the activities he performs. Even though he comes in touch with material world, he appears to be performing any so-called activities, he is unaffected. So second part of the verse, as we discussed, one who knows this principle about me, that person is also not bound. So we already discussed this point actually, so I will just summarize in one statement. To know Krishna and to know about Krishna, these are two different things. Anybody remember what example, what analogy I quoted in that? To know Krishna, to know about Krishna, these are two different things. Anybody? So I gave the example of patient going to a doctor. And the doctor may know about you something, but he doesn't know you as a person. Right? The doctor may know your blood report, your X-ray report. He knows your name, your address also, maybe because it's on his file. But so he may know something about you, but the doctor does not know you as a person. He does not know what are your likes and dislikes, what are your hobbies, what is your favorite color, what is your favorite place to visit, what is your favorite holiday destination, what is your favorite dish and all. So same way, sometime we know something about Krishna. We have heard some little pastime about Krishna here and there, and many people claim, oh, I know Krishna from my childhood. In our home there is Krishna deity, we used to worship Krishna. Yeah, we know about Krishna. So yes, we may know something about Krishna, but do we really know Krishna as a person? Because knowing somebody means developing a relationship with that person, knowing all in and out about that person. So if you claim that yes, I know my spouse, hopefully everybody knows. So knowing your spouse means you know the likes and dislike, I, what he or she likes to eat, what is the favorite dish and all. So in that way, then you can claim, yes, I know that person. So here also, to know Krishna means understanding the mind of Krishna, understanding the nature of Krishna, which is described here in two verses Krishna has spoken. Earlier Krishna said, Janam karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tatvatah. One who understands my appearance and disappearance, the transcendental nature of my appearance and disappearance and my activities. That person after leaving the body does not attain another body. He does not come back to this material world. And then here also Krishna saying, I am not bound by any karma. Even though I perform so many activities, I am not bound by that karma. And somebody who knows about me, knows this about me, that person is also not bound by karma. So understanding these principles about Krishna, understanding Krishna in truth, in tattvataha, that is knowing Krishna. So moving on to the next verse, where Krishna further elaborate on this principle of the karmic reaction. So Krishna now is advising Arjuna how you should act. Krishna says, Evam gyatva kritam karma purverapi mumukshubhi kuru karmeva tasmatvam purver purvatram kritam. So all the mumukshvi means all the liberated souls or desirous of liberation. So all people in past who were desirous of liberation or already in a liberated stage, they acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. And therefore, you should also perform your duty following in their footsteps. So Krishna is saying, do your activity with this understanding about my true nature. And in that way, you will also attain perfection of life. You will also attain to the liberated stage. So one should act following in the footstep of these great personalities. So this is also important verse in the sense following in the footstep of previous authorities. And Krishna is saying this is a time-tested process. Right? Act as others have acted in past and they got liberated. As a doctor may say, see, this treatment, it has cured so many patients in the past. I'm confident if you take this treatment, you will also cure. So then you have this confidence that this doctor knows how to cure this particular disease. There is a proof. He has treated many other patients in the past. So then you get the confidence there. So same way Krishna is advertising that yes, this process works. Others accepted this nature, understood these points about me. They accepted my transcendental nature and they got liberated working in that consciousness. So you also work in that same consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is not something modern, new concocted thing. It is ancient. Actually, it is eternal. So work itself causes bondage, but the same work when done with detachment, with devotional attitude, then it leads to liberation. So so many saintly people, even though they are in a liberated stage, they still work. And what kind of work they do? They work out of compassion, seeing the suffering of these materially conditioned living entities who are bereft of God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, and thus they are inspired to work for others' spiritual elevation. So we know our Goswamis, say the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, um, and all other Goswamis, even though they themselves are in a liberated stage, but still they worked for the welfare of all the other living entities, for the welfare of all of us. They continue to write books, they continue to preach the message, continue to travel all across to share this message. So, in one sense, that is also work, but they are working not with the desire of some result, some gain. They are working out of compassion for other living entities. And actually, Lord Buddha once said, after attaining enlightenment, you have two options. Either you do nothing or you help others also attain enlightenment. And most of our uh, sampradaya, right, our Vaishnava sampradaya, most of the saints, most of the acharyas, what path they have followed? Sharing the knowledge with others, showing the path to others, helping others also attain enlightenment. So the sages, they do not have any selfish motive to work, but they still engage for the pleasure of Krishna. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur also, he was a grihastha, right? He had many children and he had a government job also, but he gave up his job. He gave up the comforts of his house. He was going door to door, actually begging also. Why? That I want to build a nice temple for the Lord, and I want to distribute this knowledge about the Lord. So he was working for the benefit of others. So working in devotion also attracts the grace of Krishna. And Krishna is advising Arjuna also to act in same way, following in the footstep of these previous sages. Now, the next point in the next verse, so next three verses, Krishna will go more elaborating about what is karma, vikarma, and akarma. And the intricacies of karma, it's very difficult to understand. ये कर्म का जो ताना बाना है उसको समझना, what reaction, what result is coming because of which activity, it's very difficult to understand. So text 4.16, किम कर्म किम अकर्मेति कवयो अपि अत्र मोहितः तत्ते कर्म प्रवक्ष्यामि यत् ज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे अशुभात्. When even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Kim karma, kim akarmeti. And now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So even the intelligent person are bewildered at times in understanding what their duty is in specific circumstances, in specific situation. What is their dharma and that particular situation, or what is adharma. So for example, the Vedas recommend non-violence, right? We say ahimsa parama dharma. So Vedas recommend non-violence. So accordingly, in Mahabharata, Arjuna also wanted to follow that path charted in the Vedas of non-violence. So Arjuna said, I don't want to fight. I want to go to the forest. So Arjuna wishes to follow the same course of action and then kind of give up this violence. But what did Krishna tell? If you do not do your duty of engaging in violence, then you will be doing sin. So if the duty varies with circumstances, then how to understand what is my duty in a particular situation? That is a very complex matter. In the pastime of Ajamila, we know Ajamila was a very sinful person. So the Yamadutas arrived to drag out the soul of Ajamila to take him to the court of Yamaraj to punish him. But at the same time, Vishnu Dutas also arrived because Ajamila happened to chant the name of Narayana unknowingly, unconsciously. Still, Vishnu Dutas arrived, and Vishnu Dutas saved Ajamila, and they kind of dragged Yamadutas away from that place. So Yamaduta came back to Yamaraj and questioned Yamaraj, what is this? We were doing our duty. That person was such a sinful person, and we were doing our duty to drag him here to punish him. Then, but how was he saved? Why the Vishnu Dutas did not let us do our duty? At that time, Yamaraj instruct the Yamadutas. What does he say? Dharmam tu sakshat bhagvat pranitam navai vidhur rishayo napi devaha. So what is proper action? What is improper action? This is very difficult to determine even by the great sages. Nave vidhur rishayo napi devaha. Even the great sages and the demigods, the devatas, even they also cannot understand what is proper action, what is improper action at many times. And dharma is, what is dharma? Dharmam tu sakshat bhagvat pranitam. Dharma is created by God himself, and he alone is the true knower of this dharma. So one must follow in the footstep of great authorities like Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Manu, the Kumaras, Kapila, Bhishma, Shukdev Goswami, Yamaraj. So there are all these Mahajanas are there. So one should follow in the footstep of these great Mahajanas. Dharmasya tattvam nihita guheyam Mahajano yena gatha supantha. So this is a very beautiful verse which comes in Bhagavatam. Mahajano yena gatah supantah. So the truth of religious principle is hidden in the heart of an self-realized person. So the Shastra says one should follow in the path of the Mahajanas. So what does it mean to follow in the path of Mahajanas? It doesn't mean we should imitate what they do. So there are two words used, right? Most of you hopefully familiar with these two words. These two words are anukarana and anusarana. Okay, anybody knows the difference in these two? Anukarana and anusarana. What should we do? What should we be doing? Should we do anukarana or anusarana? Anybody?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Anukarana is to mimic a person, Anusarana is to follow in their footsteps. And I think you should not mimic the great individuals, you should follow in their footsteps. So Anusarana is the way. Hare
Good.
Krishna.
Exactly. So anukarana, karana means to do, right? Anukarana means to do as they did, like imitating somebody. And anusarana means to follow in their footstep in the means by following their instructions. It's the same way, let's say for Krishna, we don't want to imitate Krishna, what Krishna did, but we want to follow in the footsteps in the way what Krishna is teaching in the form of his instruction, Bhagavad Gita. So we should follow the instructions laid out by the great personalities rather than imitating them. Same way, maybe our Goswamis, they did certain things, they acted in a particular way. It doesn't mean we will be just imitating what they did without coming to that level, coming to that stage of consciousness. So rather than imitating, we just need to follow their instructions, anusarana. So we should be following in the footstep of these previous acharyas, Mahajano yena gatah supantha. And there are so many examples which are quoted in the Shastras, just like in Kurukshetra war, Ashwathama kills the sons of Pandavas. And Yudhishthira was feeling very morose that all this happened because of me. And he was actually blaming himself. All this war happened because of my greed, that I wanted a kingdom. And he wants to renounce. So if Yudhishthira want to renounce one by one, all the Pandavas want to renounce. Nobody want to be the king. And Krishna said, this is the more severe war actually. What war they fought in Kurukshetra against the Kauravas, that war was nothing. This war which is going internally, that is more severe war. The war against uncontrolled mind. So this discussion goes on and on and on. And Krishna is not able to convince Yudhishthira that whatever happened, it's not your mistake. And one can question, oh, even though Krishna is not able to make Yudhishthira understand, how is that? So because Krishna want to glorify his devotee, Bhishma Pitama, in externally Krishna is telling Yudhishthira something, and internally sitting in the heart as Paramatma, Krishna is inspiring Yudhishthira, do not agree with me. Right? Why? Because ultimately then Krishna tells Yudhishthira, let's go to Bhishma Pitama and hear from Bhishma Pitama. So nobody can understand the plans of Krishna. But when one understands, then one gets Lord's mercy. As Bhishma Pitama, when they all go to Bhishma Pitama, so Bhishma Pitama said, see, just follow the plans of the Lord. Don't keep blaming yourself. Oh, I did this and all that. It was all Krishna's plan. I was also made to fight against the Lord as per his plans. So I did. Bhishma Pitama is telling this. So I fought against Krishna because that was his desire, that was his plan. And I did this and I got his mercy. What is his mercy? That I can see him at the time of my death. He is standing in his personal form here in front of me. That is Krishna's mercy. And because I followed Krishna's plan, I got Krishna's mercy. So this always keep happening. Should I act? Should I not act? And we need to understand that by following in the footstep of great acharyas. So just like when we want to learn something, we have to go to an authorized teacher. So same way, when we want to follow the path of dharma, or when we follow the path of spirituality, we have to follow in the footstep of previous acharyas. So Krishna is saying this, understanding the complexities of karma, action and inaction is very difficult to understand. Even the great personalities are put into bewilderment at many times. And there are so many stories actually to quote from Mahabharata itself. Bhishma Pitama himself also, he was also uh, bewildered at times. So when this gambling match happened and Yudhishthira, he kind of lost everything. He gambled, and to fulfill the desire or kind of fulfill the instruction given by Dhritarashtra, that's why Yudhishthira agreed to play that gambling match to please Dhritarashtra and to please Duryodhana. And in that, ultimately, he lost everything. And he lost his wife also. And these Kauravas, they were so bent upon insulting the Pandavas, they wanted to go to any extent to insult Pandavas. Even to the extent that they, they wanted to insult Draupadi by bringing her, dragging her into the assembly and stripping her naked. So Dushasana, he dragged Draupadi into that assembly, and at that time she was pleading for help. She was looking at the Pandavas, her five husbands, that are you not going to help me? And Bhima, even though he's so strong at that time, he was ready to get up and fight, but somehow Yudhishthira told this is not the right time for you to act. So they kept quiet, and then Draupadi was calling out to Dhritarashtra, she was calling out to Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, Kripacharya. She was pleading with everybody, please help me in this situation. And Bhishma Pitama at that time, in a crying voice, Bhishma Pitama spoke, I do not know what is my dharma at this time. I do not know what is action, what is inaction. What am I supposed to do at this time? Why? Because Bhishma Pitama was bound by his vow. His vow was, I will be faithful to somebody who is sitting on the throne of Hastinapura. So he is just fixed up or held up by the vow which he had made. And he is saying, I do not know what is the right thing to do. So that is exactly what Krishna is saying. Even the intelligent people, they cannot discriminate between action and inaction. What is to be done? What is dharma? What is adharma? There is another story which Krishna quotes in Mahabharata, telling to Arjuna actually this story. What had happened was, in the war, when this war is going on, at that time, at one point, Karna was face to face with Yudhishthira. And Karna defeated Yudhishthira very badly. Yudhishthira was humiliated like anything. And Karna let him go alive, that I will leave you alive. And he shot the arrow on his crown and made the crown fall and let him go. I will leave your life. So Yudhishthira was humiliated. He went back to his tent. And at that time, when Krishna and Arjuna returned back, they came to know what has happened, that Karna defeated Yudhishthira and Yudhishthira got insulted. Arjuna immediately went to meet Yudhishthira in his tent, that I want to meet my brother, I want to see him, what is his situation. And when Arjuna went there, Yudhishthira thought Arjuna must have defeated Karna, and after that he has come to see me. So Yudhishthira asked Arjuna, so have you taken the revenge for my insult? And Arjuna said, no, I just came to see you. And Yudhishthira got angry. He said, you wanted to see me? How humiliated I am? You want to see me in that situation? What is the use of your Gandiva bow? Better you give up your Gandiva bow. So Yudhishthira was overcome by these emotions. Just imagine Dharamraj, who is considered as Dharamraj, such personality also is overtaken by these emotions and sometimes not understanding what is the right thing to do, what is the right thing to say. So he insulted Arjuna, and Arjuna had taken a vow. Whoever tells me to give up my bow Gandiva, to put down my bow Gandiva, I will not leave that person alive. I will kill that person. So Arjuna took up his sword and he is ready to charge on Yudhishthira, because I have taken this vow that I will kill that person who tells me to put down my Gandiva bow. So at that time, Krishna tells one story to Arjuna and to Yudhishthira. He said there was a sage named Kaushika. So he was living in the village, and as he is doing his austerity, he is a Brahmana, he is a sage, and he has never spoken a lie in his life. He is very truthful, always abiding by his principles of truthfulness. And once a cow came running in a very distressed situation, being chased by the butcher. So this cow ran from that place to hide from that butcher, and this butcher came running also chasing the cow. And this butcher saw this sage Kaushika sitting there and asked the sage, have you seen a cow passing by? And this Kaushika Muni now thought, what should I do? What is my dharma at this time? I have taken this vow of truthfulness that I never speak a lie. So if I tell the lie, if I tell the lie that I did not see the cow, it will break my vow of truthfulness. But if I tell the truth that yes, I saw the cow, she went in this direction, this butcher is going to go and catch the cow and butcher this cow, kill that cow, that will be even more severe sinful reaction, because I will become the cause of murdering that cow. So in this situation, what is my dharma? Yes, speaking lie will bring some reaction, but being the cause of death for a cow will bring even bigger reaction. So I have to see what is the right situation, what is the right thing to do for me at this situation. So what do you think? What did Kaushika Muni did at that time? Or what should he have done that time? So what is more important for him at that time? Just be truthful, or save the life of the cow and avoid this such a kind of a bigger sinful reaction?
Save the life of the
Yeah, save the life of the cow, right? Protect the cow, because killing the cow is a big crime, big sinful reaction. So Krishna is quoting this story. The dharma is also many times circumstantial. You have to understand what is the right thing to do at this particular time. So that's why Krishna is saying this, understanding the action and inaction, it is very difficult to understand. And the next verse also actually continue on the same principle. Here Krishna says, Kim karma, kim akarmeti. What is karma? What is akarma? So there are three different things mentioned in the Shastra, three different type of action, which Krishna says in the next verse. Karmano hai api bodhavyam cha vikarmana, akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. The intricacies of actions are very hard to understand. Gahana karmano gati. Which action brought what result? If we start analyzing that, you can never understand. Yes, sometimes we try to speculate, sometimes we try to say, oh, maybe I did that, because of this I'm getting this reaction now. So yes, as devotee we are trained that, oh, this is my own past karma because of which I'm getting this reaction. But to understand which action is bringing what reaction, it's very intricate. So one should know properly what is karma, what is vikarma, and what is akarma. So my question to you, who can define these three terminologies? What is karma, what is vikarma, and what is akarma?
Karma is good action that brings good reaction for us. Vikarma is bad actions that will bring bad reactions. And akarma, when we work without any results to look for, that won't bring any reaction to us.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Or you all agree with the statements? Or anybody want to quote a different version with some example? Okay, so karma, so generally we say every action is karma, right? Whatever activity we do. If I go to work, that is my karma. I drive the car, that is karma. Actually, karma, what does karma mean in scripture? The terminology is, it is prescribed duty. Whatever is prescribed for us in the scripture, if we act based on that, that is karma, which brings in good reaction. Okay, so any activity, prescribed duties mentioned in scriptures, performed with the desire of result, that is action. Vikarma also is action performed with the desire of result, but against the prescribed duties, against the instructions of scriptures. That is vikarma. And then akarma is any activities performed without the desire of action, but for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. That is akarma. So akarma does not mean not doing action. Akarma means activity which does not bring reaction. That is akarma. Okay, not doing action. So karma, vikarma, akarma. Just example, you go to your work, you are doing your work as prescribed by your authorities, and at the end of the month you get your salary, right? That is karma, that you are doing your prescribed action as prescribed, and at the end you get the result. So that is karma. Now vikarma is somebody going to the bank on the point of gun and looting the bank and bringing all that money. What is that? That is vikarma. So even though they are also getting the money with the desire to enjoyment, but by doing some sinful action against the prescribed methods. So that is vikarma. Somebody is getting the salary and donating the amount from that salary for the pleasure of the Lord. That is akarma. Another example is, let's say a student is studying very nicely. His parents have spent money to send him to the college. He is staying in the hostel, following the instructions of the parent, following the instructions of the teacher, spending time nicely in his studies. That is karma, right? He want to get good marks and fulfill the expectations of the parents. That is karma. The student goes to the college, but rather than studying, rather than fulfilling his responsibility, he is just associating with bad boys, drinking and loitering around, not focusing on studies and wasting the money of the parents. That is vikarma. And somebody is associating with devotees, engaging in kirtan, and then studying also for pleasure of Krishna, that everything is provided to me by Krishna. I want to do my best to please Krishna so that I can engage all this learning ultimately in the service of Krishna. That becomes akarma. So even the activity which we are doing as a good activity, that also is binding in this material world. Sometimes people say, what is problem with doing good karma? What is the problem with doing good activities as some service to the society, something? What is wrong with that? Yes, one can get good result. One has to come back in the next life, again take birth in this material world to reap the result of that good karma. But along with that, it brings many other problems of life also, like the disease, the death, the old age. which in itself brings in many sufferings also. So even though somebody may be doing so-called good activity in this material world, but still that is binding in this world. And many times people claim we are doing something good for the society, but ultimately they are doing some sinful activity behind that. Unknowingly, they may not even know. For example, one person came and said, I am serving 500 people, I'm feeding 500 people meals to quench their hunger. But how are you feeding them? What are you feeding them? Oh, we cut the goats and serve the goat flesh to these people to save them from hunger. Now, okay, on one side you are feeding the hungry people, which is good, but you are feeding them, killing goats, killing the animal and feeding that. You know how sinful is that? So person have no even idea that, oh, this is such a sinful activity actually. Another person, same way, he said, oh, I opened a liquor store, I opened a liquor factory, and I'm employing so many people, giving them employment. So you are giving them employment, but ultimately you are engaging them also in a sinful activity, and you yourself are engaging in a sinful activity. So sometimes people don't even understand that what activity they are doing on the name of doing some social service is also including so many sinful reaction also. So Krishna says, Gahna karmano gati. It is very difficult to understand the intricacies of karma. One should understand these three categories very clearly. What is karma, what is vikarma, and what is akarma. So vikarma is formidable action, inauspicious action which is prohibited in the scriptures, and inaction that is performed without any attachment to the result, merely for satisfaction of Krishna. So then it does not bring any karmic reaction, and it does not entangle the living entity in this world. So normal welfare activities, feeding the poor, giving some charity to the poor, making schools, making hospitals, planting trees, digging the wells, making roads. So all those are, yes, those are good activities. Those are no doubt good welfare activities, but they are not at the level of spiritual activity. Yes, they are pious activity, but we need to transform piety into spirituality. Piety can lead one at the most to Swarga, but that is still temporary place. Ultimately, one has to come down. Shine punne mrityu lokam vishanti. So, what is dharma, adharma? What is action? What is inaction? It is very difficult to understand. Even Arjuna was bewildered. What is my dharma at this time? He wanted to give up fighting and run to the forest. Krishna says, no, that will bring more sinful reaction. So, in the next verse, Krishna says, again, continuing on this principle of action and inaction, कर्मणे अकर्मा यः पश्येत् अकर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृष्ण कर्मकृत्. So one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sort of activities. So even though doing the activity, if one understand, one is able to see inaction while doing action. So karmani, in action, akarma yah pashyet, who sees inaction. So this is like a tongue twister verse actually. So one who sees inaction in action and one who sees action in inaction, that person is a real intelligent person. So as we said, karma can mean action. It can also mean reaction also. And the combined system of action and reaction is also called karma. And karma is one type of action, which is called sakarma. So sakarma is also just labeled as karma many times. So karma has many different meaning. And what does it mean, karmani akarmayah pashyet. Means even though somebody is doing action, but there is no karmic reaction. Somebody who is able to see that externally, yes, this person seems to be doing activity, but ultimately there is no karmic reaction. So karmani akarmayah pashyet. So he sees the external activity, but no karmic reaction. For example, Arjuna's fighting, did it lead to karmic reaction? No. So even though Arjuna externally is doing activity, he is doing the activity of fighting, but this was a karma because Arjuna was following the instructions of Krishna, doing that activity just as per the instruction of Krishna to please Krishna. So that was, even though doing activity, but it was without any result. And then on the other side, akarmani cha karmayah pashyet. Even though externally somebody may not be doing any activity, somebody is just sitting, meditating, right? Renounced everything, gone to the forest, sitting and posing as a great yogi, but still doing action. Akarmani cha karmayah pashyet. Even though externally that person is idle, but still there is karmic reaction involved. So somebody who is able to see that, that person is really intelligent. So akarma, actually, if we see akarma can also mean in two ways. Like that's what Krishna is trying to explain here. Akarma, somebody may understand in terms of no action. And also akarma means which the action which does not bring reaction. So sometimes people may say no action, but still that no action externally may be bringing reaction. Why? Even if somebody has renounced everything, gone to forest, not doing any material activity, but internally the mind is active, and mind, because of the thoughts, because of engaging in the objects of senses, is still bringing reaction. For example, Vishwamitra, right? Vishwamitra has renounced everything. He is doing austerities, performing austerities. Then Menaka comes. And even though Vishwamitra was trying to control, he was trying to focus on his meditation, ultimately in his mind. See, first engagement happened at the level of mind. He mentally started associating with Menaka. And ultimately then physically he associated with Menaka. So externally he may not be doing any activity, but internally at the level of mind, somebody is engaging. Even though externally it's inaction, but internally it is bringing the reaction. On the other side, somebody may be externally doing action. For example, a soldier in the army, he is on the border. From the other side, from the enemy side, maybe some shooting started, and they are coming to encroach upon the other side. So this soldier is given instruction by the authority, you go and destroy those enemies. So this soldier is going, taking his gun and shooting those enemies. More he kills the enemy, bigger award he is given. Right? Rather than giving some negative reaction, he is given positive reward. Because he is acting under the direction of authority, on behalf of higher authority. So in that way, there is no negative consequence. But for same soldier, if he goes on vacation to his village, his city, there he is maybe driving by and somebody comes and bumps into his car, he gets very angry, come out of his car, take his gun and shot that person. Now for this action, he will be punished for that. They may take away all his other earlier medal which were given to him, and they may punish him also. Right? Court martial. So because he was acting on his own whims without following the authority. So action and inaction, these intricacies are very difficult to understand. That's why Krishna says, be in the world, but don't become of the world. Like a lotus can remain untouched by the water. And same way, we should remain in this world, act in that way that we do not get bound by the reaction of this world. Just like the boat remains in the water, but water should not get inside the boat, right? If the water gets inside the boat, then the boat will sink. So same way, we can remain in the world as long as we have this material body. We have to live in this world, but act in such a way that we do not get bound by the karmic reaction. But we should not bring the world into our heart. And that is what the problem happens. We are supposed to keep our heart for Krishna and utilize our mind, our intelligence to analyze this world. Why there are so many problems, why I'm suffering. So we are supposed to utilize our mind to analyze this world and utilize our heart, give our heart to Krishna. But we do other way. We start using our brain to analyze Krishna and we give our heart to the world, right? We put our heart into this world, into various enjoyments, various desires, and we analyze Krishna so much. Oh, why Krishna made world like this? Why did Krishna do like this? So that is where the problem starts. So live in the world, but don't become of the world. Like the boat can live in the water, but the water should not get in the boat. So Krishna says these intricacies of action and inaction are very difficult to understand. But if somebody can understand, somebody can see action in inaction and inaction in action, that person is intelligent and he is not bound by these reactions of the work and he is not bound in this material world. So that's why this chapter is called Jnana Yoga, right? Karma Jnana Yoga, working with knowledge. Okay, so we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Any discussion points?
So for this Ajamila story that you quote many times, was it due to, he was pardoned due to his previous karma, or due to the mercy of the Lord, or due to the foresight of the Lord, meaning that the Lord knew that if he pardons him, that he will change his life?
It's a combination of multiple things. So based on previous Sukriti, right, he was a Brahmana and he did many pious activities earlier. So based on previous Sukriti, the sages somehow inspired him to name his son as Narayan. And he, with attachment for his son, he was calling out the name of Narayan. And even at the time of death, he ended up calling Narayan, calling out his son. And because of that, Vishnudutas arrived and they had an argument with the Yamadutas that he is not sinful, all the sins are removed because unconsciously chanting the name of Narayan. So this story also emphasizes the glories of holy name actually. Okay, more than is it Ajamila's previous karma or something, this is the mercy of the holy name, the glories of the holy name. That by chanting the holy name, one can nullify all the previous karmic reaction. But it's not that Krishna immediately took him back to his world. Yes, his sinful reaction is nullified, but his attraction for Krishna has not developed yet. His love, he has not gained the stage of prema yet, right? He has come to the stage of neutrality. See, from negative axis, you come to zero. But now you need to move to the positive axis. So from negative axis, he has come to the level of zero now. So he was given a second chance. So after that, Ajamila gave up all sinful activity. He went to Haridwar. He engaged in all the spiritual activities, taking darshan of the deities of the Lord, chanting the holy name of the Lord, associating with the devotees, hearing the glories of the Lord. And based on that, he performed these austerities for 12 years. And after that, he attained the spiritual world. So he was given a second chance. Right? So yes, it is a combination of previous Sukriti and more of is mercy of the holy name. So, but we should not think, oh, Ajamila at the time of his death, he chanted the name of Krishna, so everything was all right. So we can do whatever we want all our life, and at the end of our life, when we are about to die, then we'll say Hare Krishna, and then everything will become perfected, all right. No, because that is one of the offense to the holy name. What is that? Knowingly, on the strength of the holy name, committing sinful activities, thinking that no, let me perform my sinful activities right now, no problem, and later on I will chant Hare Krishna and all sinful reaction will be gone. So if we are engaging in sinful activities knowingly, thinking holy name will save me later on the strength of holy name committing sinful activity, that becomes a deeper offense to the holy name. In Ajamila's case, he chanted completely out of the state of helplessness, right? So at least his chanting was not offensive. His chanting of holy name was inoffensive. All right. Anything? Anybody else?
How many of us know that we have been given a second chance?
So there is no guarantee, right? That's why we should not be looking for the second chance. We should not be waiting for the second chance. We should think this is my only chance. This is my last chance. And I need to take this seriously.
And Prabhuji, regarding this Varnashrama, I mean, many times we as a person will be doing sometimes intellectual activities, sometimes administrative activity. So, and also we do menial activities. So, as a part of it, we are a combination of all those four Varnas.
Yeah, truly speaking, in Kali Yuga, everybody is Shudra.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
What we are doing is we are following in the direction of others. We are being given directions. We are given instruction. Okay, now you do this. Today you do that. So Kalau Shudra Sambhavat. In Kali Yuga, practically everybody is at the level of Shudra, even though we may take pride in thinking, oh, I'm doing administrative work, I'm doing managerial work, all that. Ultimately, we are working for somebody.
Yeah.
So as long as we are working for somebody means we are labor class. So we are Shudras.
Yeah, that's true interpretation.
So, but for Krishna service, yes, we can take up any role. So sometimes you can take the role of as a managerial role also, and we are ready to clean the trash bins also, and we are ready to mop the floor also, and you are ready to sit on the Vyasasana and speak for Krishna also. So you can take up the role of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, anything in service of Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada said that I'm below Shudra. So,
So that is the humility, right? Out of humility, he's speaking that I have no qualification. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, I am not a Brahmana, I am not a Vanprasthi, I am not a sannyasi. So what is our real position is we are just servant of Krishna, and in that capacity, whatever we need to do, we are ready to do that.
yeah. True, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining. And one important announcement is this